Okay, let's start the show with this catchy tune.
Welcome to the Heart-Centered Life podcast, where we discuss everything that relates to creating a life that makes you the most fulfilled. Join us every Tuesday morning for great ideas on how to use creativity to find that heart-centered space that is your deepest happiness, so you can then successfully create the positive change that you wish to see in the world.
Now, here's your host.
Hello everyone, this is Elena Boyd, your host of the Heart-Centered Life podcast. Welcome to episode 9. In this episode, I talked to Courtney Weller, jewelry designer with jewelry making factories in Indonesia, about sustainable jewelry making. Here, Courtney talks about how she gets inspiration for her designs, the production of her jewelry, and how she markets and sells them. Courtney also has some great suggestions for people starting out on their journey to creating something that they wish to share with the world. Her one word of advice is, find ways to take care of yourself first as you embark on a journey that brings huge rewards through some uncertain times. I hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did. So welcome, Courtney, to the Heart-Centered Life podcast. We are completely delighted to have you here with us, and we are going to talk about sustainable jewelry line design today. You sound like you live a really exciting life. You've traveled the world. You've been to exotic places, Morocco, Bali, Mexico, and I think you've kind of found your home in Bali, and you're originally from Canada. So could you tell us?
I'm originally from Yes, I'm originally from Canada, and I did travel the world. I've been to 26 countries so far, so I'm excited to keep expanding because I believe each time you go to a new culture, you just grow in ways that you can never learn in school or in a book. You really just need to immerse yourself into the culture. And I do love staying simply or luxury. It doesn't matter. But regardless of where I stay, I always love to go deep into the culture. Like just the other day, I drove 3 hours, and I've never driven in Mexico before. So that was interesting, into a village to go see a medicine man. And, I really just love getting to know the culture of the people and understanding where it originated from and their outlooks on different types of medicines and things like that. So yeah, I really enjoy that. And the universe has brought me here to Tulum. I spent my 30th birthday here, and I knew I would be coming back. I just didn't know when, but I've been led back here, and I'm here for almost 4 months. So yeah, I've been living here for a while, and I love it very, very much.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to go back to Bali. I head back there in May, so I'm looking forward to that.
That's exciting. So we are really interested in your journey to Bali. So you are a jewelry designer, and you design beautiful jewelry. I've seen your the pictures of your work.
Thank you.
Could you tell us a bit about your journey from Canada and what made you choose Bali as a source for inspiration for your work?
Yeah, so originally I have been a hairstylist since 2005, and I had an opportunity to have my own salon. And I just stared at this wall every single day of the small space I used to work in, and I always imagined, could you imagine if I could just knock down this wall and create my dream salon? And sure enough, I was actually in a car accident, and I got a settlement at the same time that the opportunity presented itself. So I was able to knock down the wall and create this magical beauty sanctuary in the Okanagan Valley, which is in British Columbia, Canada. And half of it actually used to be a jewelry shop. And that's actually what started me on this jewelry design journey. I had no idea that taking over the salon would lead me to this place that I am in my life now. So when I started designing the salon, the most important thing was bringing Bali into Kelowna, because Kelowna is a very conservative place, and they're not overly they're getting better, but it's not overly open-minded to different cultures in different ways. And so creating, it's called Pranama Style Lounge, is my beauty sanctuary, and it's an expression of me. So I've actually decorated, most of the salon is Bali. The processing area where you sit with your hair colored on is Morocco. And then our shampoo room is India, where we'll have like birds chirping or different like chakra aligning sounds in there. And we have beautiful like hand-dyed silks, kind of like what I'm wearing in there. So that's India. And then our bathroom is our banyo. And so that's kind of my space where I just wanted to bring all of my favorite parts of the world into one. So as soon as I took that over, I literally booked a flight to Bali like the next day. And I just went and I was like, I just need to go to Bali and I need to get all of these designs for my jewelry. I need to buy the decor I want for my salon. And everyone's like, you're crazy. You just signed a lease and you're hopping on a plane. I'm like, yeah, I'll see you later. Like, I'll be right back. So
What were you designing? Were you designing jewelry at this point or not quite yet?
Yeah, so what happened was I purchased a ring on my very, very first time to Bali. I went on a bachelorette party there with a girlfriend of mine too. Well, a yoga retreat, I should say. And so I purchased a ring from this store and I wore it every single day and it just like meant the world to me. So I'm like, you know what? I know this person. I didn't even know it was a sustainable design at that point, but I was very attracted to this jewelry piece. So I just went and found the store. Somehow I remembered where it was. I have no idea how. And I started just choosing his designs and slightly altering them with my touch because I didn't know how to design whatsoever. And now I've been to Bali 9 times. So each time I go, I started getting more hands-on, more hands-on. Like he'd take me to his factory in Bali and show me different things. And when I was invited to design a collection for Gianni Versace for the Versace show that I put on, I was like, you know what? I just need to go to the factory in Java. Like I need to really like put my heart and soul into this. I need to see how this is all made, how this is all done. And I need to know my business inside and out if this is something I'm truly going to pursue. So that was an amazing experience because the artisans are so talented. They live in this small village and they even hand make their own tools to make these pieces. And all of the pieces are made from recycled ship parts. So we take the brass, copper, stainless steel, and they melt it all down. And like even every single loop of this chain is completely handmade. Like they sit there and loop everything together. Mm-hmm. So after seeing all of the love and attention to detail that went into each piece, I was like crying. I was so emotional because it was just such a profound experience. Yeah. So since then, I've been very hands-on with all of my designs, and everything is 100% my designs now.
Well, that's awesome. It's so you designed the jewelry, but you have your own factory there in Bali right now as well, right?
Yeah, so somebody else actually owns the factory, but I submit my designs into them and then they produce for me. So one day it is my dream to have my own factory, but I haven't quite made it to that step yet.
Okay, so so you are designing your own jewelry, and where are you getting inspiration for the design from? Through the local culture?
Yeah, through the local culture, through Egypt, actually. I channeled Egypt for the Gianni collection because it was very hard to even know where to begin. You know, how do I design something that's so powerful and so amazing, you know, that even compares to something that would be in the same category as Versace. So I just did a meditation and yeah, Cleopatra kind of came to me and the ancient Egyptian culture. So we took some of like the traditional Balinese techniques as well as like I will just be walking in the street and I'll see pyramids in Bali or anywhere. And so I'm like, okay, that's where I'm going to go off of. So that collection itself has a lot of the ancient Egyptian culture. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like just walking in the street sometimes, or sometimes when I start designing, I don't even feel like I'm in my body. Like I feel like something just kind of flows through me and comes out. I do love using astrology in my designs as well. Mm-hmm. I do have my Purnama collection, which is the moon collection here. And then I have my Chi collection, which has more of like the Eye of Horus and pyramids. So between the two collections, they both came out at the same time. They're very, very powerful, but also complement each other well, and you can pair them both together.
That's so nice. I was interested in your designs and learning about how your creativity sustains the lifestyle in Bali, So could you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so the lifestyle of the people of Bali, you mean? Or of Indonesia? Or myself?
Both, right? So
Okay.
we believe that when a person is creative, two things happen. We change ourselves, we become different people as we go through a process of creativity. Any process of creativity, whether it's art, music, and in your case, designs. But also when we put our work out there, or when we engage people with our creativity, it also changes their lives as well.
Yes.
So I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about that.
Okay, yeah. So, another huge part of why I design is to be able to give back to, especially this village. It's actually in Java, so it's about a 45-minute flight from Bali and then an hour and a half drive from the airport. So it's quite a journey to get out there, and there's not a lot of opportunity there for these incredible artisans. Like, there's nothing like it I've ever seen in this entire world. So to be able to give back to them in this way and also show them another way of life. When I'm out there, I burn incense in the space, I light sage and I'll cleanse the space. And I'll also put on some incredible music that they just love. And I even sometimes will bring my party light
Mm-hmm.
and put it on in the factory. And we have different lights going because they like to work into the night. Sometimes we're in the factory till 3 in the morning when we have big projects going on. So, I really like to show them that there's another way, and they'll see me leave, and I'll go do like a meditation, or even when I was staying actually with some of my friends that just live down the road from my factory. They live in a very simple home, but very, very, very special and full of love. And I would wake up and do yoga every morning just out on their little front area.
Mm-hmm.
And when I came home from the factory one day, I seen Maria, which is the mother and the wife of the household, and she has got this sweatsuit on, and it's like hot out, and I'm like, "What are you doing? Where are you going?" And Rudy, my creative director, translated to me, said, "You have inspired her to be healthy and to go exercise just from my own actions." And we can't communicate because I don't speak Indonesian very well, and she doesn't speak English. But that in itself was very empowering, just to show that your actions alone can influence people in ways that words can't even. So that in itself is really special. And, just to be able to provide opportunities to people in the village when they don't have much going on. And we also offer free training to any children that get out of school, out of their high school. So they're welcome to come into our factory, and we'll train them for free so they can also have the same opportunities as the other artisans if they choose.
That's really awesome. So the training that you provide the children would be in art design and jewelry design, and how to
Yeah,
make
well,
jewelry.
whatever area they're interested in. There's a lot of different departments in our design. So we have a polishing department.
Mm-hmm.
We have the actual artisanship where they're hand making and more the craftsmen. We have an administrative team. We have the gold department. We have the finishing department, and we have quality control. We have quite a few different roles. So if they're not into being creative in that way, there's always a space for them if they choose to want to be a part of helping us out and being a part of our team.
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
So we've talked a little bit about getting ideas for your design. We've talked about creating those designs. Could you talk a little bit about the sustainability of the materials that you get? I know you mentioned that the materials are sourced from ships, old ships and all that.
Yeah, like old ships or old machines. So I've actually gone to the factory where we get the sheets.
Mm-hmm.
So that's actually in Surabaya, which is the main city in Java, which we fly into. So I went into that factory and I look around and I see all of the recycled parts, and sometimes they're whole parts, but we like to buy them already melted down and in the sheets, just so then the artisans can actually get right to working instead of having to do, like, we try to give everybody work, and in that way, it's more efficient. So
Yes.
yeah, so usually we purchase the pieces in sheets of either brass, stainless steel, or copper. And even with our rings, so they are brass base, but on the inside of the ring, we put stainless steel just so it'll never tarnish one's finger or turn it green or anything like this. And then we enhance everything with 18 karat gold.
Wow.
Yeah. And even all of their tools, so they have a tree stump actually in the factory that has just like little holes and grooves in it. So even when they're making my pearl earrings, they'll mold the piece of brass inside of this little tree stump and hammer it until it fits the pearl perfectly. And all of the tools they use, they completely hand make. Like, I've even gone and purchased them like new tools from like the craft store here, but they don't even want to use them because they really love the organic way of life as well. So yeah.
So that's really great. So where you said that you get the pieces. I mean, you're not getting the raw pieces, right? You're getting the ones that have already been, I guess, kind of processed, like it's flat, ready to go and all that.
Yeah, it essentially comes in like maybe like a 2 millimeter sheet or something like this. And we can buy different thicknesses. So depending on the type of work that I'm doing, like for this ring, it would be a thicker band versus like this one is a little more. So yeah, we can buy different types of thickness in the sheets as well.
Are they all sourced from Indonesia, or are they from like different parts of the world?
I'm not exactly sure where they get their materials from. I do know that a lot of recycling like this happens in India as well. But I do believe that most of this is coming from Indonesia, because I've seen them like melt everything down, and they do all of that in that factory in Surabaya. So I believe everything's coming like nearby, because Asia does have a lot of pollution problems with the ocean, and there's tons of ships and boats and things like that. So I feel like they're getting it from the area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've talked about the inspiration, where you get your inspiration from. We've talked about the designs. We've talked about the creation. We've talked about the parts. Let's talk a little bit. Let's shift gear and talk a little bit about, once you've designed the jewelry, and once you've run it through the process of production. Let's talk about the process of production a little bit, and then I want to switch over to once that's done. I want to talk a little bit about the distribution of your jewelry. So could you talk a little bit about, once you've designed it, once you have it, sketched out,
Yes.
and you know what it's going to look like, what happens in that?
I can also provide you with a link to my YouTube channel, which shows exactly how everything is done. So I've made videos of me from Bali, showing what happens there, going actually to the factory, designing. So I hand draw everything. All of the measurements need to be there exactly, because the first time I designed, I just kind of winged it, and I just drew it, and I just thought they would just know what to do. And it came out like looking like a fork, and I was like, who did this? Like, I was like upset. And then after I looked at my picture and I'm like, I'm sorry. So I realized like my drawings do need to be exact as far as putting it into the factory, and all of the measurements need to be so precise. So that in itself takes a lot of time, as well as I like to choose my stones prior to even designing. As I walk through crystal stores, I feel the stones kind of choose you. So Mystic Topaz is really called to me, as well as a lot of shell. We do some druzy, and I do some amethyst and things. But yeah, this last collection, Mystic Topaz, is a really strong stone in my designs. So after that, I submit it into the factory, and they hand make absolutely everything, which sometimes takes anywhere from 3 days to 2 weeks per piece, depending on how insane the piece is. I do have a lot of one-of-a-kind pieces that I do in art galleries and things as well. So those ones take a lot more work because they're very intricate and very unique designing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so after that, we put everything into polishing. So polishing is a very, very important step in the finishing part, because if it's not polished properly, sometimes they'll turn green or turquoise, or different chemicals can attach to them. So polishing and cleaning them is essential. And then they go into the electroplating process, where the signature gold color that I've worked very hard to choose goes onto the top of the pieces, and then we finish everything with a final coat. And then when I receive those items, I feel like that's already been so much work, but it's literally just this much of it. So now we're on to the campaigns and the shooting and putting together the correct models that align with our brand, because I believe on energy exchange very, very much. I've done a lot of different shoots in the past where I've kind of tested to see how this works. And I've paid one model, and then another model, the same shoot, came on energy exchange, where I would give her a gift, or, she wanted the photos and things like that. So the one model that I paid, she showed up late. She kept changing the time. I gave her a gift, and she actually told me she didn't like the gift. She wanted another piece of mine. It wasn't her style. And then the other girl that came and just gave her energy and her beautiful soul, received the gift with open arms, and we're actually best friends today. Like, she's one of my best friends. She does all of my photography for me now. Her name is Julia Osam. And now whenever I go to different events and things around the world, I have learned how to post in different Facebook groups and, just express what I need, what I'm willing to offer them. And I've been able to attract all of these beautiful people to come and help me just on an energy exchange basis. And those relationships are just so special.
So for people in the audience who don't quite understand what energy exchange means, could you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, so essentially it's giving your energy. So whether you're coming to do a photo shoot and you're not asking for $1, but in return, we're going to be giving you an experience in, say, the Versace Mansion, or we're bringing you into Gitano in New York, and able to offer you these beautiful places to build your portfolio. And generally, I'll give a gift as well of jewelry, or I'll offer them. It's more of like a trade and barter system, how things used to be, like back in the day. And I just feel those relationships are so much more powerful. And it's not that I don't see value in $1. Like, that's not it. It's just when I build relationships, I feel it's much more genuine when you base them up on those principles.
Yeah, especially when you're an entrepreneur, sometimes those relationships matter more than paying someone to get service done.
Those are things money cannot buy.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, so we're at the
so then I have my campaigns.
Yes, the campaign.
I shoot my campaign, which is a lot of work. Generally, those take 2 to 3 days of planning and putting together, choosing the right models. And the only thing that I like to really keep in mind when I'm choosing models is actually one's truth, like their light. And I love to shoot all different sizes of women, ethnicities. I love everyone to feel accepted in India. It's very important to me. So a model doesn't need to be like 100 pounds and X tall. Like, that's absolutely completely opposite of how I choose models. It's all about people that truly believe in India and want to be a part of it. And there's space for everybody to be a part of modeling for me or helping me grow in any way, as long as we're aligned and we have similar views and beliefs on life.
And so for our audience who don't know what Indah is, so I'm Malaysian, and so the language is very similar to Bahasa Indonesia. And so Indah means beautiful. It means a very beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Could you tell the audience about what Indah is?
Yeah, so Inda is to me about empowerment, about love, about light, about truth, about being able to express yourself without judgments from anybody. And I really want to create a group of people, a tribe, a community, a family who just support each other in everything that we do for who we truly are. Never try to change each other and really just try to raise each other up. And we have that same culture in my salon in Pernama. So, but I really want to create more of a global impact with Inda.
That's really great. So Indah, is Indah a community that you're developing, or is it like a company?
Yeah, it's a company, but I do have some ambassadors that are joining our
That's
team
great.
now, and I'm really just open to seeing what it transforms to. We're actually in the process of writing some fairy tales that we're going to get into filming shortly here. Because I'm starting to meet my like fairy soul sisters, I guess you can call
Uh-huh.
them. So yeah, it's really special the people that I've been attracting through Inded itself. So I think the fairy tales will be an amazing way for us to actually tell our stories
Yeah.
because a lot of similarities I'm finding in these new relationships is we have never been able to be our true selves without judgment. And we've started listening to these, I don't know how you would say, like lies of other people that they
Yeah.
create, that they tell us. And then we start thinking that's our truth when in fact it's not.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I'm noticing in these relationships now is such genuine love. And I think at first it was almost hard for us to receive and understand because past relationships I've had with both friends or partners, it's always been love, but then there's like a catch, you know? So like they're
Yeah.
nice to you, but then they like your boyfriend, or they're nice to you, but secretly they're plotting on like how they can, I don't know, take something from you, you know? So I think a lot of people have been hurt through these types of relationships in the past. So just trying to form true, genuine sisterhood and brotherhood. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. So
Yeah.
you try to bring people together in a community that focuses on building each other up, helping each other, kind of based on this. Uh, what was it that I'm forgetting the name that you used, the exchange,
Oh, the energy
energy
exchange
exchange. Yeah,
program.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I think
That's
that's really important.
yeah.
Um, and so then, anyways, after I do all of my shoots and my
Yes,
campaigns, I
yes,
send every single piece into getting shot for the line sheet, which also takes like another couple days. It's a lot of work with the white background and getting everything prepared for my website. So that's the other phase, and then uploading everything to the website, which is
yeah,
a huge job, and creating the description for each piece and the title for each piece and breaking down, the measurements and the stones used, etc., etc. And then you have to move into marketing, which is where I'm pretty much at now because it's been a very long journey. And
yeah.
this is my first two collections I've actually ever produced. Everything I've just kind of sold one of a kind all around, or at the salon is where I have a lot of my sales. So these are my first actual collections. So now I'm moving into, I have some wholesale accounts that are
Okay.
selling India. So that's going really well. And there's a couple places here in Tulum that want to carry Inda as well. So I have some meetings this week with some amazing resorts. So I'm excited to announce that as soon as that's official.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, some really amazing things are happening. So I'm very excited about all of the things I've been manifesting into my life. And I actually just needed to take a moment. I did my tarot cards yesterday, and it actually said no, and I don't like the word no. So right away I get triggered. I'm like, what do you mean no? And after reading it, it said, just you've been going full speed ahead. Like you need to just slow down. And it's not like no, it's just not right now. So
Right.
just take this time to rest, enjoy this moment. I've just started a cleanse yesterday, and I'm just coming back into myself and doing a lot of meditation and healing in areas that I didn't realize I still had healing to do. So I'm really taking this time as my personal soul journey, and the opportunities are just going to keep being presented in divine time. But right now, I don't want to rush anything. So
Yeah. Well, that's great. So you are distributing your jewelry line through some wholesalers. Any in the US? So you said Mexico. You said in Indonesia as well.
yeah, so the Grand Hotel, which is located in Kelowna, is our main resort. So they have an art gallery there. So they carry my most like eccentric, crazy designs. And then I have another retail shop also located in Kelowna. I have a supplier in Vancouver, a store there, as well as another place in New York that's carrying my stuff. And I do want to start branching out. I would love to have a supplier in Miami. And yeah, that's going to be my focus now, is to start working on some more wholesale accounts that want to expand with Indah as well. I do have a couple places in Bali, and I'm working on a huge contract right now, which I will announce as soon as that's official. But yeah, we're in the final stages of closing that. So I'm looking very forward to that.
That's really exciting.
Yeah, I'm very selective of where Indah's found because it's not something that can be found everywhere. It's not mass produced in the sense as if it was coming from a factory in China or such. It's a very unique design, and I always want to make sure that the retailers understand that, and they also align with having a similar view on the sustainability and also having attention to detail in their stores and the way they display things, and everything is very, very important.
With the same values that
the same concepts and values, of course. Yeah.
Do you sell any of your jewelry through your website? So for those of us audience who are interested,
yes, I do a lot of sales, and I ship worldwide. I believe there's a couple places that I cannot ship jewelry into. I do have it listed. I can't remember them right now, but generally I do ship worldwide.
Okay.
And yeah, there's been people purchasing from Italy, from Germany, in Paris, and yeah, it's really becoming worldwide. So I'm really excited for that, and I'm really excited for these fairy tales to come out because I think that's really going to help express the messages that we want to put out to people, and just show them that we all have superpowers within us, even if you've been told you don't, or you're crazy, or all these things. You have to truly just believe in yourself, because our mind is very, very powerful. And Indah stands for empowerment. If there's one word that I had to attach to Indah, it would be empowerment. What
I like it, empowerment. I think when it comes to creativity, we need to empower creatives like you. Give them the confidence, the courage to create, and then distribute their work to their community and to the world. Because that's when the greatest impact happens, right? When you create something that's valuable to you, and then you distribute that. That's when magic happens.
And patience is everything. I think a lot of times as an artist, we kind of want not even as an artist, but just in society, we're able to order something on Amazon and get it like the next day. So we've been so programmed into wanting everything now or yesterday, where, the good things take time to really nourish. Like the best soup is the soup that cooks overnight and, has all of these flavors brewing. So I'm really trying to shift my mindset into how we've been programmed into allowing everything to happen as the universe has planned for us.
That's amazing. So I'm really excited to see how Indah develops. I'm really excited to see the fairy tales come out, and I'm really excited to follow your jewelry line. I'm having such a difficult time doing that, but yeah. So I'm really excited to see what develops for you.
Thank you.
a lot of our audience are creative people, and they could be in various stages of their creative journey. They could be starting out, they could be in the process of designing it, and they may be in the last part of, bringing it out to the world like you. Do you have any advice for people who are embarking on that creative journey?
So I would recommend for anybody starting out on this journey, or no matter what part you really are in your journey, is to never ever stop believing in yourself, because there's going to be ups and downs. I have so many other stories I can share with you about how many times I've wanted to quit. I've had product get lost. I've had the craziest things happen, but you just have to keep going and looking at everything as a lesson. So, if you're attracting something into your life, you have to look deeper and see, like, why is this happening? Where is this coming from? Another thing is really who you surround yourself with is really going to be all the difference. So anyone that doesn't believe in you, anyone that brings you down, anyone that makes you second guess your designs or your intuition, it's time to just release them from your life. And it was really hard for me to do this because I used to have friends that I would just feel like, well, I've been friends with them since, grade 7, like they're my only old friend. But no, like they're not aligning with my core values, and they're actually bringing me down if anything. And it's okay to release these people from your life. It can be family members, it can be anybody that's making you feel that way. So make sure that everyone is in your circle is truly seeing you for you and has your best interests at heart. I'd say that's really, really important.
That's really great advice.
Yeah. And meditation, having a morning ritual to me is, no matter where in the world I am, I've been a nomad for a year and a half. So this is actually the longest I've stayed in one place for a very long time. I was moving every 2 days some days, and I had a heavy suitcase. But what I have is I have my pillowcase that I always travel with that makes me feel at home.
Yeah.
I bring my incense with me. I smudge my space. I cleanse the energy. In the morning, I like to have like warm lemon ginger water, or sometimes like a golden milk, like a turmeric latte or something. I breathe in the morning. Dance is everything. So, yeah, expressing yourself through different types of dance, whether it's like more of like a slow dance or more ecstatic, or, it depends on my mood. Like this morning, I woke up and I wanted to raise my energy and my vibration, so I put on higher energy music. But, some mornings I just want to stay in more of a meditative state, so I'll just put on something slow. And also journaling. So having a gratitude journal and making sure that you're giving thanks for everything in your life. Like even before I get to bed, I'm like, good morning, thank you, I love you. And telling yourself you love yourself. Look in the mirror, if you really want to get to the core of something, you just got to stare yourself in the eye and like get to the bottom of things. So don't be scared of yourself.
That's really great advice. And I think it works for any one of us who's engaged in any creative act. So you say meditation. So meditation is being quiet enough so that you can calm those thoughts down, right? Calm the mind down, and maybe access the heart. Self-care.
And yoga as well. Like yoga, I recommend.
Yeah. And then self-care, taking care of yourself, making sure you eat the right food, get the right drinks in the morning, have a good breakfast.
Yeah, even putting I'll put oil on my body in the morning and like give myself a massage and just like, I love you. And, if you, there's been different things you can find on YouTube with different plants or different types of food, even where they'll put the same food in the jars and tell one that they hate it, one that they love it, and then one they don't say anything. And you can see like that the love actually lasts longer. So, yeah, and also one more thing is removing certain words from my vocabulary has helped so much. So even right now saying the word hate, I was like, I don't use that word. It's not in my vocabulary. Don't, can't, like that. I just, those aren't words in my vocabulary anymore.
Yeah, the things you say to yourself, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So self-talk, movement. I love it.
Yeah.
That you have to move. And I realized that you did not say exercise. You said movement. And that's a huge difference, because I think you can exercise and not have any value to it. I mean, besides, that's the physical activity, but movement is a little bit different in that it's a little bit more maybe introspective. You're just
Yes.
moving, right?
And
As opposed to
some days I want to some days I want to go to the gym and lift heavy weights, and then other
yeah,
days I just want to dance or do yoga,
yeah,
or I ride my everywhere in Tulum, and that's why I love it here so much. Like I have to work for my groceries. Like yesterday,
yeah,
I had a lot of groceries on my bike, and I had my flowers, and I'm riding my bike in the dark, and most people would think I'm crazy, but I love that because I had to go in and get my groceries and work for them. I didn't just have a car and go start it, and I love that.
yeah. And the final thing that you said is a gratitude journal.
Yes.
And with gratitude, I think there's with when you're grateful for what you have, there is a shift in perspective. You
Absolutely. Yes. And I guess one more thing actually that's very, very important is following the cycle of the moon for myself personally, which is why I designed the Pranama collection. On the new moon, it's so important to set your intentions and to look at those, every day or as much as you need to remember what it is that you truly, truly want. And then at the full moon is about releasing everything not serving you and keeping yourself accountable. So following the moon cycle is very, very important. And Purnama, the salon that I own, is actually translates to full moon in Sanskrit. So yeah, both of those are huge, huge parts of my life and everyone in our culture's life as well.
that's great. um I think following the moon is a very uh it's not a Western culture. It's more. I'm not sure whether it's. I say that because for the Chinese, there is we're gonna follow the moon, the Lunar New Year. For example.
Yes, just recently.
Yes, and so I know exactly what you're saying. Um, but for those of us who did not grow up in that tradition, could you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, so I didn't actually grow up in that tradition. Everything that I'm telling you right now, my parents don't believe any of this, and so it was been a very interesting journey to not be accepted through my beliefs, and so I've just been on my self discovery journey. But following the moon is, it's Pachamama. This is our Mother Earth. I believe everything is about combining with the elements and the cosmics and going back into even the ancient Mayan culture. It's what I've actually been doing a lot here. I've spent a lot of time in the special cenote here, and it's when I look up at the stars, it's like to infinity. It's like there's no limits. The only limits we put on ourselves are what we put on ourselves.
Yeah,
So I think like looking up at that moon just reminds us that there's there's so much out there and there's so much that we don't really tap into due to society and what they've done to us because they don't want us to think bigger. They don't want us to know that you can manifest anything you want. They'd
yeah,
rather us be in our little 9 to 5 bubble of
yeah.
what they prefer. But I truly believe that the moon is very powerful, and setting those intentions on the new moon is very, very, very important,
Mhm.
and releasing. A lot of times we hold on to things that aren't serving us that we don't even realize we're holding on to. So just taking those two times in a month, really allows you to just show up for yourself and for what your greatest purpose is.
That's
And as
great.
you start doing that, you'll see that it works.
I
It's
love it.
really, really powerful.
So Cody, thank you so much for your time and everything that you've mentioned, your Panama Saloon, your jewelry line, is going to be in the show notes below. And where can our audience find you if they want to? You're on Facebook.
Yes. So my Facebook is Courtney Weller, or you can follow the World of Indah, and
Yeah,
Indah is INDAH. Also, my personal Instagram has a lot more of like my daily practices, my daily life, how I do floral arrangements, how everything around you is a representation of yourself. So that's why I do like having, special flowers around me all the time because it reminds you it's you have to gift yourself gift yourself along, you know? You need to celebrate your wins along the way. If you don't, then you're just going to get depleted. So, you know, like yesterday I had a huge transformational day. So that's why I went and bought myself flowers and made myself a romantic dinner and put on love songs and lit candles. And I had a romantic night by myself. And so just to really
That's great.
give back to yourself in those ways.
Mhm.
But anyway, so welcome to Coco Land is where you'll see more of the ways that I live my life. And then the World of Indah is going to be focused on my jewelry line. And then Purnama Style Lounge is my beauty sanctuary. So I have three accounts.
And all of this will be in the show notes so that
Yes,
the
I'll make
listeners
sure
can
all of that's included.
find you easily.
Yeah.
So thank you, Courtney, for your time. It was such a pleasure to have you here with us. Thank you, Courtney.
Okay, thank you. Namaste.
You've reached the end of another episode of the Heart Centered Life podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, head over to elinaboyd.com for our free resources and materials and to access the show notes for today's podcast. Until next time, thank you for tuning in.
Spread the word by leaving a rating and review on iTunes.